Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Oh,
We're the Capricorny couple.
oh yeah, our banner. There it is. Yay. Today we're sitting on opposite sides of each other. So the name above my head is my wife's name. And now the name above my head is my name.
Yes.
But I think
Everyone
y'all
I
are
think here is clear on who
very
we are
intelligent audience that can handle that, I think.
I believe in them.
Please hit the like button if you hear that.
I believe in them. We've got a couple people watching. So today we're continuing the Enneagram series, and we are discussing the types right now. We're going through all the types. Last week we did types 8, 9, and 1, and this week we are doing types 2, 3, and 4. And Fabian has prepared a bunch of little slides.
Need the book.
And he needs his book. And we're going to go through the types again for 30 minutes.
Yeah, so today I'm going to start with something I didn't start with last time, which was this: the subconscious fears of dropping the personality. And this was a one statement. Oh man, I didn't have it bookmarked. Oops.
You gonna find it?
I got it. So this is the part that is for the whole group. Just as group 8, 9, and 1 is called the instinctive triad, the ego fixation creates kind of a block to our instincts, our gut,
Yes.
our body.
Yes.
Is what we become dissociated from. Hi, Annie.
Hey, Annie.
Types 2, 3, and 4, and Annie's type 3. So,
and I'm a type 2.
And so we got.
I'm feling embarrassed by how sweaty I am right now. It's so hot.
Yeah, it's really one of the more humid days I've experienced in California.
Mm-hmm.
12 years out here. Anyway, so Annie, you could chime in as a type 3 expert if you'd like. And the feeling triad, they're dissociated from feelings.
Yes.
I have a hard time getting in tune with trusting what they're feeling, which brings on shame and guilt. Often we talk about hysteria associated with this, inauthenticity. Authentic's a big buzzword, but these are the types that are really
we're image conscious.
Image conscious.
So we're always trying to mitigate our image, or trying to what do you call it? Curate our image.
Perfect. So here is the subconscious fear of dropping that personality, dropping that mask that people in the feeling triad put on to manufacture love, basically. So let's just go right into type 3 here.
Yes.
And give an example of how it.
And we start with the middle type because you explained it last time, but maybe just
quickly say so we start with 3, 6, and 9 because those are the core. That's where the fixation is actually happening. Those types, their ego fixation kind of has the nature of not even noticing it. So the fear-based types, like 6, like me, my personality is trying to hide fear from myself. So to an outside observer who maybe doesn't know me very well, or even people that did know me very well, would be like, oh, he's not scared. Because I've manufactured this kind of presentation, this mask of being brave and courageous, but it's manufactured.
Yes.
So we start at the core, and then we go to the wing types, which is like an exteriorized version of that energy and an interiorized.
Yeah, I think another way of saying it is just that the middle type of the 3 on each side is the most repressed.
Yeah. That's where, yes, it's just purely repressed, purely just squashed down. That energy is leaking out in the exterior version, so where you can see it, and it's leaking out to kind of create a shield or manufacture something in its environment to avoid fear and anxiety and anger and image consciousness.
Yes.
And then the energy can get focused in and leak out inward, where people are just inside themselves, manufacturing some kind of story in their head or in their body for what's going on. So I think we should just get into examples, and that'll clear it up. So oops, that is not what I wanted to do. The subconscious fear of dropping the personality for type 2, 3s, and 4s. If I stop identifying with this image of myself, my worthlessness will be revealed, and I will lose the possibility of experiencing love. Deep down, God damn it.
Sorry.
Did that hurt? Did that hurt?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my God, people are going to know that I feel worthless.
Okay. Deep down, I suspect that I am a horrible, unlovable person. So only by maintaining this ego project do I have any hope of being welcomed into the world or feeling good about myself.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
So-
I don't feel so connected to that as much as I have.
No, this is at its worst. This is like the deep down darkness of this fixation that I think it's good for people in our introspective practices to be in tune with that. And remember it, honor it, have gratitude that if you're not in that space, you're not in that space. Like, that's why you get to have gratitude. And remember, like, man, I've really come from something dark and deep and true. And other people are still struggling with it. I think, honestly, I'm turning 40 this year. Just by function of getting older, I've grown. Although I've been intentional about my growth, but just by growing older, I can look back now at people in their 20s and be like, oh, man, you guys are hurt. But, you know, that's what life is. You can be less hurt.
I mean, they say that, it's a meme. A meme
What's the
that I
meme?
read said that men come to full emotional maturity at age 43.
Wow, almost
So
there.
almost there.
Guys, I'm almost fully emotionally mature man. It's exciting. So, wow, we're going to be goofy as shit today, apparently. So, all right. So that's the big theme, right? Now we're going to go into something called, I need to hide this banner. There we go. I will become present to my life. When? So you have this subconscious fear of dropping our personality. And so now our mind is making up excuses for like, well, I'll get present to myself. And getting present to oneself is what's going to begin the process of dropping the personality. So the types are making up some kind of story. It's not some kind of, it's a story they're making up not to get present because the ego knows it would get under attack.
So it's conditional.
Yeah. So Annie's laughing over there as we knew she would.
Good.
Let's start with Annie's type. Type 3s. I will become present to my life when? Do you want to read this?
Sure. I will become present to my life when I have accomplished enough to feel successful and worthwhile. When I have all the admiration and attention I want and feel completely outstanding, then I'll show up.
All right. And, there's a little...
I mean, I feel that too.
Yeah. Well, you're from that
I
triad.
have a little 3 in my wing.
Yeah. I think that one's pretty straightforward. See if anyone's confirming. Oh, okay. So... Hi, Zaris. Okay, loving the bit about the 20s. Okay, all right. So I think this speaks for itself. Type 3s just have that. To me, they're the most workaholic. We kind of do them a disservice in our society by idealizing it. Like, oh my God, they're so successful. They work so hard. Look at them. They have money and this and that. And these are often the people, not often, but these people... Or I would say
can
be. Well, often it is a type 3 fixation, I'd say. That is something that's kind of like in the American ego fixation, perhaps, is had a lot of 3 energy.
I think that's true.
So they can be that emptiness. And I think it's in a lot of art. I think there's a lot of movies and a lot of art on that theme of people who have everything but are empty inside.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's come from inauthenticity because the 3s will basically do whatever it takes to become accomplished enough and successful enough, regardless of whether or not it's what they really want to be doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, they'll never get there. So they'll never actually drop. They'll actually never get present. If they don't ever let themselves get to some feeling of worthlessness, if they don't let themselves get to feeling like, I'm good.
Matter.
I matter. I don't have to get anywhere. I matter now. If they can get there, then they can get present and drop the personality.
I think the big one is also like, I am worthy because I say so, because I exist, not because I've done something to prove my worthiness.
Yeah. So Annie says, I worked really hard with Cassandra and Fabian because I am successful at outstanding at self-worth.
Yes, that's a great type 3 joke.
That's a great type 3 joke. They do want to feel great.
Star student.
The type 3 is like, I'm going to do personal development and I'm going to be successful at personal development.
Yeah.
And then once I'm successful at personal development,
I'll show up for
then
it.
I'll show up for my what? Okay, we'll get to more contradictions later. All right, so type 2 will show up for themselves. I'll read it for you so you don't have to hurt yourself speaking these words aloud.
I'll read it.
Oh, okay.
I'll feel the shame.
It'll be a powerful experience for you to read this.
What is it? I will become present to my life when I'm loved unconditionally by others and feel their love.
Oh, lots of
when
typos
others
in this
totally
one.
appreciate my affection and sacrifices and meet all of my emotional needs, then I will show up. Wow. Okay. So when people love me unconditionally and I feel their love, I think that and I feel their love piece is really big, because my experience of myself is that I've done a really good job of dismissing people's love, like not letting myself feel it, not receiving it, not seeing it, and then only hearing like criticisms and only allowing myself to take those in. So then, of course, that is a perfect story, because if I'm only hearing criticism and only feeling people's criticism, then I don't ever have to show up.
Yeah, true. The type 2s I feel for a lot. I'm married to one, first of all.
Thank you for feeling for me.
So I feel for you.
I feel your love.
And get it, because I live with one and I'm married to one. And the pride of the type 2 is the trick. And you've heard me talk about it a lot. People have followed my Enneagram work. Pride of type 2 is one of like my favorite things about the Enneagram.
You love to bust our balls.
It's like, guys, you are the best at giving and you're prideful about it. No one's ever going to totally appreciate it. Like, it's impossible. You're demanding toxic type 2 women, which is a very much a trope of the Enneagram, I guess, right?
It's an American trope.
It's another American trope. The introverted housewife who's just giving, selfless and giving, and she just wants everyone to appreciate her. They're not going to. So you either got to own it and be like, you know what? I really just do love people, and I'm going to give, and
because I want to.
Because I want to. Right.
Because I can.
And I can.
Or, I think the breakthrough comes from seeing where the giving is coming from. And it's coming from a desire to have other people actually meet their needs, first of all, and not being willing to share that they have needs, and just hoping people will eventually see, well, why didn't I ask Cassandra what she needed? She's been helping me out. Why didn't I ask her? That never happens. We actually have to say, I need this.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And coming from a place of wanting to receive what I'm giving, which is totally conditional. Even though I'm expecting other people to love me conditionally, I'm being conditional. It's just lots of contradictions.
Lots of contradictions. We got to move it along a little here.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, type 4. So 2 is exterior energy. That image consciousness puts energy out to kind of get people to thank them and appreciate them. The type 4 is going inside itself and telling itself it's special. The 2 is trying to go out and get people to say, wow, you're so great and special. And the type 4 is going in and being like, I'm special and great. So this is the type we both tease a lot, because you see it in the spiritual world. And
yes. So
we hear us teasing them back a lot.
You want me to read it?
I'll read this one.
Okay.
Since I have a very...
Well, you had in your tri-type.
Oh, so. Yes. See, the 4s are the most annoying to us. And in our relationship, I'm the one with the most 4 energy. So there you go.
Yay.
Type 4s. I will become present to my life when I have completely resolved all of my emotional issues and have found my true significance. When I am completely free to express all of my feelings with everyone I want, then I will show up.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time when I was depressed, at home, smoking weed. And this to me really took the form of like megalomania, kind of, even like I was disengaged from the world. Still smoke weed, but smoked way too much weed back then, and really it was bad, because I was trying to escape this. I was trying to rationalize this. Let me put it that way. This is very true in my life. In fact, as I was typing out all the banners for type 4 today, I was like, So it's nice. It's
Gotcha.
nice to be reminded.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is I have completely resolved all my emotional issues. That's impossible.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too in a moment.
So only then, when you feel like devoid of emotional issues, will you actually feel like a significant person, or like you know your purpose or something like that. It's kind of a funny condition.
Yeah. So we're going to get into some of those contradictions right now through the lens of something called marching orders. And again, same format as last week. Remember, marching orders has to do with our superego. Superego is the authority we've created.
Our internal parenting
parenting system, our internal authority system. So it's usually parents. It's a voice in our head. At least most of us start that way. Our parents are, oh, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should be doing this.
Yes.
And in my case, the military became very much a superego figure
church,
in my life. Church, religion can be a superego.
Yeah.
And spirituality itself. People like, oh, well, Buddha said I should be peaceful, and I'm not being peaceful.
Well, that's the church.
Yes. Okay. So this can happen. So marching orders, let's just get into the examples. This is a much shorter thing, but type 3s are hearing from their superego, you are good or you are okay if you do something valuable.
If you do.
Right. So the superego is like, go do something valuable, and then you'll be good.
And you'll get love.
Yep. Well, okay. Contradiction, as Cassandra was just started bringing up contradictions for that thought. If you are good or okay, you are good or okay if you do something valuable. The contradiction to that is, what makes you think that a particular activity makes you so valuable? Why do you have to do something to feel valuable? How much do you have to accomplish to be worthwhile? 3s are often overachievers who feel empty inside. And I mentioned that already.
I've been called an overachiever many times.
Yeah.
And I always took it as a compliment. I always wondered why people said it to me like it was something bad. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that is weird. Okay.
Well, I'm sure they were projecting, but still,
I think that's the point. Yes. I think people, yeah. Okay. We're going to move a little faster through this one. Type 2 superego. Oops. Type 2 superego saying you are good or okay. You are good or okay if you are loved by others and close to them.
Which I think that creates the desire to feel needed by others. It's like a manufacturing of love. Yeah.
These are all to me, the Enneagram is just all things. It's explaining how we manufacture. Absolutely. Yes. Why does your value depend on someone loving you? And how do you know if they do? Indeed, how do you know? You don't even know if you yourself are being loved or love people.
I think one of the ways that we feel like we know is that feeling of being needed and having people depend on us.
Yeah, so you get your wires crossed in that way. Yeah. Everyone's got the wires crossed is another good way to put it. So even if they don't, what has that got to do with you?
It's not personal.
It's not personal.
Oh man, that was a huge breakthrough for me when I really, really understood what that meant.
Yep. It's not personal. And 4s, you guys are good or okay if you are true to yourself.
Okay.
I love this one because the arrogance of the feeling triad really comes out. What does it mean to be true to yourself, type 4s? How do you even know? Or how you even act?
Fabian.
Yeah, how do you, yeah, right. What does it mean to be true to yourself? What is this self that some other part is being true to? Does it mean holding on to old reactions and feelings? Type 4s try so hard to be unique that they cut off many of life's options.
And they dwell. They're dwellers.
They lament, absolutely. And that's their talking style, actually.
They stay too long in the drama of the emotional experience.
Yeah. In some of my, I don't know, in my, when I really teach the Enneagram more like completely, I mentioned, look at the diagram itself, right? Do I have it anywhere? That 9-sided thing, right? And at the bottom, you see there's a gap between 4 and 5. And what that gap between 4 and 5 is really representative of is the way out of this 9-sided kind of prison shell that is around us. And we're trying to clear these fixations out so the light can get out. Where the 4 and 5 represents a way to immediately surrender and let go and drop out of the whole freaking personality game altogether. So 4s and 5s are literally closer to that. They kind of, I really seriously see the potential for just dropping out of it all altogether. There is an emotional intelligence. There is a, well, just intelligence personally, but with type 4s, just intelligence in general, but in type 4's cases, there's real emotional intelligence about themselves. So when they say, what does it mean to be true to yourself? How do you even know what being true to yourself even means? I actually think 4s have a glimmer of what that is. And their issue is they won't let it go.
Well, that's why they love spiritual.
Lament. They go to spiritual workshops as an addiction almost, to instead of just let it go.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're on the last piece of this. Yeah. Which is healing attitudes. So there's some very simple healing attitudes to try on for size. And, well, we actually have 9 minutes left. So, God, we might even have time for questions if someone wants to type some in to the comments. I should see them pop up.
Okay.
So, not marching orders, healing attitudes. Healing attitudes. Yeah, so we want to leave with something positive. If anyone has gleaned anything from today, I think these stuff we said today is very much to the point. So here's a very just to the point way to start thinking about shifting your attitude. Type 3s. Maybe I don't have to be the best. Maybe people will accept me just the way I am. Maybe others' opinions of me aren't so important.
Maybe.
Nice thing, in journaling, maybe. I obviously teach through, I teach through the mechanism of journaling. The tool of journaling,
yes,
because I think it's so powerful. And I would have a type 3. I would bring them, if I was guiding them in some kind of journey, I would bring them around to this every now and then. And the point being is returning to these mantras in a way, returning to these concepts. Don't just read the self-help book 1 and think you got it.
Right.
Read it again a year or 2 later and see how your relationship to these statements change. I think these statements can be a kind of benchmark, see how we relate to them. Let's see.
We use these kinds of statements on the healing side of EFT practice.
What was that phrase that helps for type 3? Radical truth? Yeah. I think that was a very type 3 phrase. I know we've talked about that, Annie. I think in this context is what you mean. The idea being
she's explaining more in the comments.
Oh, she's going. Let's see. It was a phrase from your original. Yeah. I think type 3s have to really be radical and their holy path out of the fixation, which we're not covering. We'll probably cover in a few weeks. This holy path stuff was veracity. You just got to be radically true to yourself about how vain you're being, how much you're just kind of being a bitch to other people's expectations and not being true to yourself.
It's being self-absorbed. It's a kind of self-absorption too, but like weirdly not seeing yourself at the same time. Yeah.
So you have to learn how to be radical about it because it's inauthenticity itself. That's where inauthenticity itself is fixated. So the idea where that's where we need the truth to be like most extreme to break the pattern. Does that make sense? I think it does. So that's the healing attitude for 3. And let's see, 2. Did we already do this?
No. We only did 3 so far.
Go ahead.
Maybe I could let someone else do this. Maybe this person is actually already showing me love in their own way. Maybe I could do something good for myself too. Maybe. Letting someone else do things I've gotten much better at. Maybe this person is showing me love in their own way. I had to learn that for sure. My love language is like affirmations. So if someone's not telling me that they love me and how beautiful I am and how great I am and how wonderful I am, I might not be noticing the acts of service they're doing or the quality of time, the quality time we're spending together. So having to learn and train myself to see those small other moments and ways that people share love was a big deal. And then maybe I could do something for myself too. Yeah, totally. Self-care. It's like our nemesis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I mean, I would even add, maybe I could share my needs with others.
Do you feel guilty if you do self-care sometimes?
No.
It's not...
I feel angry that I have to do it and someone else won't do it for me.
Ah. All right.
I want someone else to bathe me and brush my teeth and cook for me and tuck me into bed. And I mean, that's like my inner child's desires.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm not laughing at it. I hear you.
Honestly, I'm saying it because it's funny. Like, that's an actual feeling that I've had. Like, it never ends.
Yeah.
The self stuff.
Well, let's check on and see if Annie reported back here. No, just a lot of people laughing. Colleen laughing in
emoji and
in emoji
voice
and
typing.
What do we call these characters?
Getting eaten alive by mosquitoes right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I even put tea tree on.
That sounds nice. Okay. Everyone wants to get bathed and shit. All right, Jesus Christ, people, take care of yourself out there.
Let's do type 4, healing attitudes.
We're actually gonna finish on time, so you can afford to laugh about it. All right, type 4. All right, me again. This of all the statements, even more than some of the type 6 statements, this one fucking gets me. Maybe there's nothing wrong with me. Maybe others do understand me and are supporting me. Maybe I'm not the only one who feels this way. Well, the first sentence hurts because for a long time I did what I think many people are guilty of this day, which is attaching their identity to their victimization. So I was just a poor anti-war veteran or that nearly got killed by a Navy doctor that fucked up.
Mm-hmm. It's a great story.
But maybe it's a great story, and I've gotten plenty of sympathy for it. I even get money for it in the form of checks from the VA. Well, they did nearly fucking kill me, so, whatever. But, yeah, if I'm going to drop this and really drop the whole fucking game, then I got to accept there's nothing wrong with me. Beauty, well, it feels good when you do work on that, I'll say that.
Well, and that's the whole thing about spirituality and spiritual workshops, which is why they get addicted to them, is that truthfully in spirituality and in practice and in Enneagram, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing wrong with us.
Yeah.
We don't need fixing. It's really more about, what we need is integration, is practicing self-love, is allowing those parts of ourselves that we feel like are broken to be there, bringing them in so we can be whole.
Yeah.
So, you can go to all the spiritual workshops you want, and if you're trying to fix yourself, it'll be a never-ending journey.
People are addicted.
It's a never-ending journey anyway, but you'll never get the satisfaction you want.
No. See, type 4s, their path out of this mess is to get comfortable with being origin or source. And that means letting go of the addiction of the emotional roller coaster. They love the highs and lows. Spiritual workshops will take you through lows and highs, and you're kind of manufacturing these payoffs to break people. But 4s get addicted to it if they're not careful.
Yes.
And will feel dead, right? Going back to the subconscious fears of dropping the personality. If they drop it, it kind of feels dead to them. Sentence 2 here, maybe others do understand me and are supporting me. That one hurts because I've had so many people in my life love me and support me. It brings me shame to feel that I would not have respected it more.
Like you didn't let it in?
That I didn't let it in, and that those people wanted me to just really say thank you. And I just kind of tortured myself by thinking maybe they didn't support me.
Okay.
But it was insane. That one hurts me so much because it's fucking insane. It's the complete opposite in my life.
Do you feel regret about that?
I do feel regret about it. No, not now. I'm good.
You have.
I have in my life felt it very recently still. It comes up. But all of them have, all they've ever wanted was for me to pay it forward, and I feel I have.
Yeah, I think
so let
you
me
are.
put it that way.
Even now.
Maybe I'm not the only one who feels this way. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain arrogance that comes along with, well, all the fixations, but I really see them in the 2s, 3s, and 4s. Thinking that you were the only one that would feel this horrible way is another thing. I'm special for how horrible my life has been, and the work I'm doing on it. Okay.
Well,
like
type 4s are funny.
That's how I feel about that statement.
If you know the Enneagram, type 4s who are really in their 4-ness, it's funny because, yeah, not only are you not the only one who feels that way, like we could point out all the people in the room who are doing exactly what you're doing and being exactly how you're being. And it's not special.
No.
I mean, there are lots
and as
of
it said here,
we're special,
yeah,
and that's not one of them.
Yeah. So, and I said earlier, type 4s, they miss out on life experience by trying to keep up this facade of specialness. It's like, you're not being special. You're missing things. You are actually missing out on things. So we did it in 31 minutes. And everyone's laughing.
We joked our way through. Which
Everyone's
is great.
Giving us the pray hands.
Keeps it interesting. The pray hands.
Which is what? Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
If there are any last questions, you got about 45 seconds to type them into the comments. We're going to do this exact same thing. No special for me. Thank you, Colleen. You're keeping me humble. and we're going to do the same thing with 5, 6s, and 7s. The thinking triad. I'm a type 6.
I have 7 in my tri-type.
I'm an expert. Sure. I'm an expert type 6 because I think I've beat the system on type 6.
You did it.
I beat it. 1 and 4, and we're almost. I think I beat it. I think I did it, babe.
All right. With that,
I took out the 6 fixation.
We shall take our leave. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Love you.
Are those ducks in the background? Oh, one final question. You mean what?
I don't know.
That up there is a cat. Statue. This has some kind of boys on it.
It looks like they have flowers.
Carrying a harvest. Little children carrying a harvest.
I'm not sure what the duck is.
Usually I have a painting here, but too much reflection in the background. So this is my outdoor office. Yes, the outdoor office with my outdoor desk. It's where I am all day.
Oh, the sounds.
Oh, the noise.
I did not hear that, so I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Bird.
We do have birds.
It's birds. You're hearing birds.
Yeah. There's like green parrots here, and there are some other little, I don't know what kind of birds they are, but they make finches.
Yeah, you're hearing birds. I don't have the good microphone in, so that's fun.
Really quick to answer Xeris's, we all have one main type, and we have our winged Xeris, but we also do have, they call it the tri-type, meaning we have a fixation favorite from each of the 3, which gives us our 3 types. We have our main type, and then we have our 2 others that are from the other 2 arms. Yeah, that's right. And we'll go over tri-types too.
Just out of the thinking, out of the feeling triad, where do I as a type 6 have the most energy fixated? Well, it's at 4.
Yeah.
My issues around image consciousness are directed inwards.
If we go back to that prism analogy where we are the light inside, and there's a prism around us with 9 sides. The darkest side is our main fixation. For me, it's a 2. For him, it's a 6. Yeah. But we have other windows that are also darker than others. And so the 2 other ones that are the most dark are part of our tri-type.
And one thing I want to add about this whole tri-type part of the Enneagram is relatively recent. A Enneagram practitioner, I'll have to look it up who it is. I know it's a woman.
That's cool.
She came up with this tri-type model.
I like it.
Postulated.
It's very helpful to me.
And just to think like how new a lot of this is. Enneagram's been around forever, as we talked about. It's timeless. It's just truth. You can see philosophers and spiritual traditions all throughout history are identifying these kind of same patterns, and we're just reconceptualizing them and noticing new patterns today as we go along.
Yeah. All right. We love you all.
Yep.
See you next week.
Love you all. I don't know what Carol
If you're watching later, go ahead and type in your questions. We'll answer them later.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, guys.